Honey, we need to talk, Jennifer said, sitting down next to me on the sofa. By her serious tone, I immediately knew that the conversation would not be pleasant. Sounds like you're going to dump me, I joked nervously. Just to warn you, I'm taking our cat. Jennifer didn't smile. Instead, she sighed and said, It's about Mom. It's getting harder and harder for her to work at the store. You know she has arthritis, and she's not as young as she used to be. So I was thinking. Okay, stop, I interrupted my wife. Don't tell me you want Monica to move in with us. I love your mom, but living with my mother-in-law under one roof? No thanks. No, what are you talking about? Jennifer waved her hands. That's not what I mean, it's just, maybe you could take her to your office. You know, for some simple position. As a secretary, for example. I nearly choked on my surprise. My mother-in-law? And at work with me? She'll drive me crazy with her chatter and nitpicking. Jenny, honey, are you out of your mind? I began cautiously. I thought we had a great relationship with your mom. Why ruin it by working together? But Jennifer stubbornly pursed her lips. I knew that look. She wouldn't back down until she got her way. Matt, please, Mom really needs help. And you're always complaining that you don't have a decent secretary. So take her. At least you'll help a family member. I groaned in defeat. And what am I supposed to do now? On the one hand, I didn't fancy seeing my mother-in-law at work every day. But on the other hand, Jennifer was right. Monica was having a hard time right now. And I really could use a secretary. All right, I finally squeezed out. You've convinced me, you pest. I'll talk to Monica tomorrow. I'll take her to us. But keep in mind, if she starts pestering me, it's on you. Jennifer beamed, hugged me, and kissed me on the cheek. Thank you, honey. You're the best husband in the world. I promise Mom won't let you down. You'll see. Everything will be super. Oh, if only she knew how cruelly wrong she was. Working with my mother-in-law turned out to be sheer hell for me. But let's take it one step at a time. The first week, Monica was the epitome of courtesy. She wore modest blouses, sat quietly, diligently typed, made coffee, and smiled sweetly. I was beginning to think that I had worried for nothing. Maybe it was even better that my mother-in-law was around. She'd keep an eye on me too. Yeah, right. Very soon Monica relaxed and began to show her true face, and other body parts, by the way. One morning I walked into the reception area and was dumbfounded. Monica was sitting at her desk in a tight white blouse, through which a black lace bra was unmistakably visible. Moreover, the first 3 buttons of the blouse were cunningly unbuttoned, revealing a cleavage between her breasts to the world. "Good morning, Matt," Monica sang, flashing a white-toothed smile. "What are the plans for today?" I could only blink, trying to look anywhere but at my mother-in-law's provocative bust. Panicked thoughts swarmed in my head. Lord, what is this? No, I must be seeing things. Monica couldn't have dressed like that for work. Or could she? Damn, what is she thinking? Ahem. Good morning, Monica, I croaked, staring intently at a potted cactus. Would you please type up this report and bring me some coffee, please? Of course, Matt, my mother-in-law purred, pulling out from behind the desk. I gulped. Under the blouse was also a narrow skirt, more like a wide belt. No, this is beyond all limits. Oh, and Monica, I called out to her, could you dress a bit more modestly? This is an office, after all, not a nightclub. My mother-in-law pouted, painted bright red, by the way, and walked away, swaying her hips. And I groaned and dropped my head into my hands. It seems I should have been afraid not of chattering at all. From that day on, things went really bad. Monica seemed to have made it her goal to drive me crazy and undermine my fortress of fidelity. Every now and then, she would accidentally drop a pen and bend down for it for too long, showing off her appetizing curves. Or she would casually touch my hand while handing me documents and look me straight in the eye with a long, promising gaze. And one time, I even caught her pouring water on her chest from the cooler. Oops, how clumsy of me, Monica sang, dabbing her blouse with a paper towel. I hope you didn't see anything, huh, Matt? I saw it all right. The blouse got wet and clung to her curves, leaving no room for imagination. I just stood there with my mouth open, unable to take my eyes off the sight. No problem, it happens, I stammered. Go change into something, you'll catch a cold. And I shamefully fled to my office. There I locked myself in, fell into a chair and grabbed my head. What's wrong with me? Monica is my mother-in-law, my wife's mother. I can't react to her flirtations like that. It's all her machinations. She wants to embarrass me. I have to keep myself in check. But it was getting harder and harder to stay in control, especially south of the belt. As soon as Monica was around, it was like a fog clouded my mind and my body was thrown into heat. There was no question of work. I kept replaying her cleavage, her shapely legs in my mind. Damn it, what am I thinking? One day, Jennifer stopped by our office and caught me staring at Monica's ass as she was placing folders on the top shelf. My dear wife merely raised an eyebrow questioningly, but said nothing, although her whole appearance screamed, "Seriously, Matt? You're ogling my mom? Yuck!" That evening at home, I felt like the last bastard. I avoided making eye contact with my wife, squirmed, and mumbled incoherent excuses. Jennifer looked at me for a long time, as if wondering whether to hit me with a frying pan or take pity on me. Luckily, she chose the latter. "Matt," she sighed, "listen, I get it. Mom can be, peculiar. But she doesn't mean any harm, really. Don't take it to heart." Easy for her to say. I'd like to see her if my dad was a bombshell, just waiting to flash his underwear at work. But I just nodded and mumbled, "Of course, honey. I'm trying not to pay attention. Everything's fine." Jennifer smiled and kissed me on the cheek, and I felt like the last scoundrel again. I have to stop these games, or there will be trouble. Trouble didn't take long to arrive. It happened on one of those evenings when all the employees had already left, and Monica and I stayed late, polishing up a quarterly report. I was sitting at the computer, furiously typing and trying not to glance at my mother-in-law, who was hovering nearby, dictating numbers. At some point, she leaned on the table, bending forward, and her breasts were practically in front of my nose. "You need to correct this here," Monica purred, pointing at the monitor with a manicured finger. I reflexively jerked back and looked up, and immediately regretted it. My mother-in-law was looking me straight in the eye, invitingly biting her scarlet lip. Her eyes seemed to draw me into a whirlpool, depriving me of my will. And her cleavage, barely covered by the sheerest fabric of her blouse, was simply mesmerizing. "Monica!" I breathed hoarsely, struggling to look away. "Don't do this!" "Do what?" she whispered, leaning even lower. Now her lips were an inch from mine. "Don't you want me, Matt? I see the way you look at me. I know what you're thinking." And then my brakes finally failed. With a muffled growl, I jumped up, knocking Monica onto the table, greedily sinking into her lips, crushing them, biting them. My mother-in-law gasped and dug her nails into my shoulders. Then everything blurred into some kind of crazy, feverish whirlpool. I tore at Monica's clothes, covering every inch of her skin with feverish kisses. She writhed beneath me like a snake, directing my hands and lips herself. With the edge of my consciousness, I understood that what we were doing was wrong. It was cheating, the lowest of the low, a betrayal. But who cares? Right now it felt too good, too sweet to think about morality. I wanted Monica like crazy, and she wanted me. That was the only thing that mattered. We were fierce, almost rough. Passion drove us like the possessed, making us forget about decency, forget about everything in the world, only the ancient rhythm of connecting bodies, only heat, moans, and the frantic beating of hearts. And then we lay on the floor, wet, exhausted, intertwined with arms and legs, and we were both shaking. "Oh God, Matt," Monica exhaled, hiding her face on my chest. "What have we done?" And then it finally hit me. Holy shit. Arrived. Sailed in. I took my own mother-in-law at work. Cheated on my wife with her mother. How could I? What do I do now? A wave of self-loathing and shame washed over me. I roughly pushed Monica away, sat up, grabbed my head. "This is shit. Jennifer will kill me, and she'll be right. God, what a piece of crap I am. Monica, what the hell? Why were you seducing me?" My mother-in-law sobbed, crawled away, covering herself with scraps of her blouse. "I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Stupid old woman. Fancied herself a girl. Thought I'd have an affair, have some fun. Didn't think about Jenny. Matt, please don't tell her. I'll leave, I swear. Just don't ruin the family." I laughed bitterly. "Don't tell? Ruin the family? We've already ruined everything to hell. How can I look Jennifer in the eye after this? Lie? Pretend that nothing happened? No, thank you, I can't do that." "We'll have to tell," I said hollowly. "Otherwise it will eat me alive, and her too." "It's not fair to do that. Monica cried quietly, but nodded. Yes, she understood too. There was no turning back. We both screwed up big time. That evening we sat for a long time in the dark office, not daring to look at each other. Then we silently got dressed and went home. And in the morning I had the scariest conversation of my life ahead of me. Jennifer immediately sensed something was wrong. As soon as I walked into the house, she frowned and asked, "Matt, what happened? You look terrible. Is something wrong with Mom?" I winced as if from a blow. Right on the money, damn it. But I still didn't have the guts to say it directly, so I just shook my head and mumbled, "Let's sit down. We need to have a serious talk." We settled on the couch in the living room. Jennifer looked at me with concern and waited, and I still couldn't find the words. How do you even tell the woman you love that you slept with her mother? Are there suitable phrases for such a confession? Well, damn, how do I put this? The thing is, yesterday Monica and I, well, slept together, Jennifer suggested in an even voice. I looked up at her in shock. How did she? My wife smiled sadly and stroked my hand. I'm not stupid, Matt, and I'm not blind. I saw the way you looked at her all this time, and how she was all over you. It was only a matter of time. My jaw dropped. What a twist! My own wife knew that my mother-in-law was seducing me and didn't lift a finger? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Wait a minute. So you're not angry? You don't want to kill me? I asked incredulously. Jennifer sighed. I'm angry. Very angry, believe me. At you, at Mom, at myself. I should have nipped it in the bud right away, but I'm not a saint either, Matt. Remember Tony, my yoga instructor? I frowned. What does he have to do with... Wait a minute. It can't be. You mean you and him? My wife blushed and nodded. One time. A month ago. I'm sorry. It didn't mean anything. Just stupid. A momentary weakness. But I cheated too. I was silent, stunned. My sweet, faithful Jenny, and capable of such a thing? What the hell is going on? Cheating for cheating, is that the way it is now? And now what? I finally squeezed out. Are you filing for divorce? Are we going to split the cat in half? Jennifer snorted and lightly punched me in the shoulder with her fist. You're an idiot, Matt, of course not. If we both screwed up, that's no reason to ruin everything. You know, I'm actually glad you confessed. I felt shitty lying too. Maybe it's a sign that it's time to start with a clean slate? She looked into my eyes hopefully, and I suddenly realized she was right. To hell with mistakes and resentments. If life has given us a second chance, it would be a sin not to use it. The main thing is that we love each other. We'll figure out the rest somehow. You're amazing, Jenny, I whispered, pulling my wife into an embrace. I love you, and I promise, no more foolishness. We'll manage. She hugged me tightly in return, and I felt that we would really manage, because we're a team, and screw all the yoga instructors and crazy mothers-in-law in the world. After that crazy night and the no less crazy conversation with my wife, life slowly began to get better. Jennifer and I spent a lot of time together talking about everything, even our mistakes and resentments. It turned out to be surprisingly helpful. It was like cleaning out clogged filters and now breathing freely and easily. At first, I was even afraid to raise my eyes to Monica. I was incredibly ashamed. But my mother-in-law herself came up to me a couple of days later and said, Matt, let's not complicate things. What was, was. But it's in the past. I don't want to lose my daughter and my self-respect because of my own stupidity. Let's just forget it and move on, deal? I exhaled in relief and nodded. That's great. The last thing I wanted was drama and savoring what happened. It's better to hide this skeleton far away in the closet and pretend that nothing happened. Working together after all this was, of course, a real test. At first, I avoided Monica like the plague as soon as she came within a meter of me, and she herself was pointedly cold and detached. Nothing happened, you imagined it. But gradually we thawed and got used to the new status quo. Monica stopped wearing provocative clothes, and I stopped looking at her with apprehension and desire. It even became easier, as if some kind of obsession had been dispelled. And thank God. At first, I was afraid that our affair would come out, that one of the employees would suspect something, see or hear something, but it worked out. Monica brushed off the men flirting with her with a poker face and referred to our relationship as nothing but Mr. Lewis, my respected son-in-law and boss. What a clever girl. Only sometimes, when passing by, she would imperceptibly touch my hand or bestow me with a long, understanding look, from which shivers ran down my spine, and very inappropriate pictures of our hot night popped up in my memory. But I just shook myself off and moved on. It's all in the past, done and dusted. I was happy and at peace with Jennifer. Now that there were no more understatements between us, love seemed to flare up with renewed vigor. No matter how good Monica was, she couldn't overshadow my wonderful wife. You know, honey, after everything we've been through, I've realized one thing, I said one night, hugging Jennifer before bed. No matter how much of a jerk we can sometimes be, the main thing is that we have each other. You are my treasure, and I swear to you I will never think about any mothers-in-law again. After all, with such a hot wife, it's a sin to complain, huh? Jenny laughed and playfully hit me with a pillow. Flatterer! I'm still mad about my mom's bra in your teeth. So don't think you're getting off easy. I let out a mock groan and threw up my hands. I surrender! I surrender! I won't mention bras, I swear. Just don't hit me, O mighty one, for I am so fragile. My wife burst out laughing, but then suddenly became very serious. I love you, Matt. Let's never cheat on each other again. Not with trainers, not with moms, not with anyone. Just you and me. I hugged her tightly and pressed her to my heart. Of course, honey. From now on, it's just you and me, against the whole world if need be. It's been almost a year since then. A lot has changed. But the main thing is that Jennifer and I are still together and love each other like crazy, even more than before. My mother-in-law quit a couple of months later, said she found something closer to home. I think it was hard for her, too, to see her son-in-law every day, with whom she had sinned. It's okay. At least now we have an almost ideal family relationship. We just look at each other a little longer than we should, but that's nothing. Jennifer happily sent me to anger management courses. She says I've become too hot-tempered and sharp at work because of stress. It's okay. I'll go and relax. That's her sense of humor, you know. By the way, it recently turned out that there will soon be 4 of us. Jennifer is having twins. I'm over the moon with happiness. I'm going to be the best daddy in the world, and we've sworn, if we have a daughter, we'll never name her Monica, just in case. In general, life is gradually getting better. What's the main thing, though? The main thing is that we have each other, and there is no more room for lies, understatements, and betrayals. Only love, trust, and a bit of madness. Without it, it's just boring, right? Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.